We've actually got a quite busy evening tonight. We've always got 4 presenters, 2 major presenters, and just a little bit of networking. And we've also got a presenter on something which is coming up in the Logan area, which might be beneficial to businesses in Logan. So what we'll do is I'd like to spend my time now and introduce Paul, who'd like to do a little presentation on networking, because that's what you've just done. So let's see how it works.
Thanks, Robin. Awesome. Do I need this microphone? Can you hear me okay? Yeah? Do I need this?
Yes.
I do need it. Okay, no problem. So thank you for the warm welcome, Robin, and great to see you all this evening. So my name is Paul Ross, I'm the Executive Director of BNI. So BNI, for any of you that don't know, is the world's largest business referral organisation. We've got over 6,300 weekly participants in Australia. We passed over $250 million worth of closed business last year. And globally, we have over 250,000 weekly participants who pass business to each other. And that's what we are, an organisation. We teach people how to pass business to each other at over $12 billion. So we teach people how to network. We teach people how to network and put a value on their time, so they get a return on their time investment in the networking that they do. And there's lots of different types of networking you can do, not just about stuffy business events where everyone's wearing shirts and ties. There's lots of networking opportunities when you volunteer as well, and that's what I want to talk about this evening. Visibility through volunteering. You can't really rely on one specific network to get all your business. It's like putting all your eggs in one basket. You can network anywhere to find business. You can network at social events. You network every time you speak to a member of your family. You can even network at a funeral. You need to remember to respect the event. But anywhere where there are other people, there's actually an opportunity for you to find business in your organisation. One of the things that you can do to find business is to network within the community by volunteering. So there are lots of different community organisations that you can participate in when you're volunteering. And what it's actually about in these environments, it's not about going along and snooping for business. That's negative visibility. Any of you that were here a few weeks ago, we spoke about VCP. Remember that? Anyone here? Visibility, credibility, profitability. So it's a process you need to move through to find the business that you're looking for. So when you're volunteering, you're not going to volunteer in order to make profit, but you can go and volunteer within organisations to increase your visibility and increase your credibility. And there are 9 points that I'm going to run across tonight that you need to think about before you decide which organisations you would like to volunteer with. But before you decide any organisations you'd like to participate with, you do need to have a genuine interest in them. And people can sniff insincerity from 1,000 places. So if you are just there for the profitability, you're probably not going to achieve profitability in those organisations. So you've got to be genuine. You've also got to be thoughtful and strategic as well. I think as Henry Ford had said, thinking is the hardest work there is. That's why so few people engage in it. So you've got to think about what you want to do. Use your time or treat it preciously, because that's exactly what it is. There's only one of you, and so you can't do everything. You've really got to work on maybe 2 or 3 opportunities and work your way through the BCP process within those opportunities in order to build credibility and in time build your relationship with the people in the organisation. So point 1. I just wanted to show a picture of a puppy and a kitten, to be perfectly honest with you. I really like puppies and kittens. So what you do in your spare time. So have a think about what you do in your spare time, what you enjoy doing in your spare time. And you can think about engaging with organisations who partake in that type of activity. So my wife's a veterinary surgeon, And as she was studying at university, she had to go and work in small animal hospitals. And so what we did, we actually did a lot of volunteering with organisations like the RSPCA and the PDSA over in the UK. We did fostering of animals, and it was really, really good fun because I do like puppies and kittens. And so it gives us an opportunity to really help out within that environment and build our relationships with people within that medical environment. What hobbies do you enjoy? So if you like golf, for example, there's an opportunity for you to go and join a golf club. Great networking opportunity within a golf club. Any of you play golf? Any of you members of golf clubs? There you go, so friend. Great opportunity for network within golf clubs, aren't there? So again, if you don't really enjoy golf, probably not a great environment for you to go and network in. But if you do, there's some great relationships you can build within that environment. Now, if you're particularly good at sports, or you particularly like a certain sport, maybe you might have some skills and knowledge that you might want to share with other people coming through in that environment. So, for example, I was never particularly good at soccer, but I'm an avid soccer fan. My little boy is actually pretty good at soccer. So I stood on the sidelines over the last couple of years and watched him participate, and he's a striker in the team, so plenty of opportunities for me to jump up and down and support him. And obviously from where I'm from Liverpool originally, a big heritage of soccer in the UK. I was actually asked to become the manager of the team. So as manager, not only do I organise everything, but occasionally when the coach can't turn up, I actually coach the boys as well. So it's a great opportunity there for me to do what I love doing, spending time with my son, but also impart some of the knowledge that I've picked up over the last 20 or 30 years by playing the game and watching the game, to build my networks with the parents and the managers of the club that he plays for. What brings you joy and satisfaction? So have a look, think of the things that bring you joy and satisfaction. You might own a classic sports car, for example. So you might go and drive your car on a Sunday afternoon with the sun down. There are MG owners clubs in and around Brisbane and other classic car organisations, so you might decide that you want to participate in an organisation like that. What social, political or healthcare issues are you passionate about? So again, you might have a certain political leaning, and you might want to get involved with that particular organisation, or again, you might be passionate about a certain aspect of healthcare, and you might want to get involved with an organisation in that particular field. Now, you can't do everything. So you do need to sit down and you need to think about the one or two activities or organisations that you feel passionate enough about to start participating in, because there's only one of you, and again, if you spread yourself too thinly, you're not really going to be able to do any of them organisations justice. Will those organisations give you the opportunity to meet your personal and professional goals? So I'm going to go back to my wife again. She was studying her veterinary degree, and she obviously loves animals. Going along to the organisation like the RSPCA or the PDSA actually gave her points and the knowledge and experience to get her degree. Okay, so what are your goals? If you've got goals, getting involved with a voluntary organisation could be a great way to help you achieve your goals. Go and visit that organisation or group. Is it what you expected? Do you still want to participate? So again, you do need to go and see what these organisations and groups are like, in order to get a real feel as to whether or not they'd be a good fit for you and you'd be a good fit for them. Have a chat with the members of these groups and see if they're satisfied with the organisation. Again, see if it's an organisation that you really want to affiliate yourself with. And when you actually decide on the one or two organisations that you do want to affiliate yourself with, again, talking about VCP, visibility, credibility, profitability, it's a process that you need to move through. Simply turning up gives you visibility. You need to build your credibility within these organisations, and the way you can do that is put your hand into one and your team role, and that's exactly what we teach our members to do within BNI. Once you go through the credibility, that's when you'll start receiving business from the people in the room. It just takes time, and you'll actually achieve profitability. So there's my 9 top tips for getting involved in the community and to network within your business. I think that the number one thing you need to think about is you're not going there for business. Okay? But over time, it will become a networking opportunity, and you will get business as a result of the relationship you build with the people within those organisations. So that's my presentation for this evening. Any other quick questions? No? All good? Thank you.
Well, thanks for that. It's interesting that he's talking about going out and helping the community. Because that's really what social marketing is about, to a high degree, is helping the community. Currently, as we are becoming more and more educated as people, we're learning that we don't live within our own cocoon, we actually live within a community, an environment. So this has really been one of the core ingredients of social marketing. So what I'd like to do now is introduce you to Neve, who's just completed the PhD on this stuff.
Right. Good evening. I'm an alumni of Griffith University, and I'm proud of it. I learned a lot here, and I just want to thank to Logan campus for this event. And I did my master's degree at Griffith as okay, let's start from the beginning. I came here to learn English 12 years ago. I was so vulnerable, but I really wanted to do something good for the community. I really wanted to do something good for my life as well. So I was working in kebab shops and cutting onions, and one day I said, no, it's not what I want from my life, and I can do better. And very hard and exhausting working hours in the hospitality industry, and then I saved for it, and I started my master's degree at Griffith University. And after that, while in a lecture, one of the lecturers provided us an opportunity. So she offered us to participate in a research project. And it was at the moment that I was waiting for. I just wanted to show my skills, my capabilities, and my ambition. And I'm so thankful that Professor Sharon Till gave me the opportunity so I could show everybody what I could do, what I'm capable of as a woman, as a migrant, as a second language speaker, and as a part of a community member in Australia. And this is my story, and after that, I started my PhD as well. So my PhD was about alcohol consumption in licensed premises. So it was really enjoyable. Because, to be honest, I came here to learn English, and I paid lots of money to language schools, whereas I learned English in pubs. Okay? And I said, wow, it's worth investigating. And as a PhD student, I was out in pubs, you know? And my supervisor calls me, she goes like, how are you going? Yeah, I'm enjoying my beer, but working, right? So it was really enjoyable. So I'm so thankful for the opportunities that the life provided for me. And I'm so thankful to myself to be ambitious and to be a hard worker as well. And this is me in a nutshell. So if you want to contact me, that's my LinkedIn and my Twitter account as well. So at the moment, I'm working for the Queensland government. I'm doing research about public transport behavior. But it's nothing to do with social marketing at the moment or what I'm going to present. So, I just would like to ask you about what comes into your mind when you say marketing, when you hear the term marketing.
Manipulation.
Okay, yeah.
Exposure.
Yep, exposure to...
Depending on where your marketing is to a particular market.
Okay.
How you deliver your message to the market and the customer base that you want to talk to in relation to the products and services that you offer.
Mm-hmm. Any other ideas?
It's all like promoting yourself, but it's a further step on the promotion.
Yeah, they're all right actually. You know, none of them are wrong. And thank you very much for your participation to all. So what do you think about social marketing? So marketing is about promoting, right? Can be yourself, exposure, ideas. But what about social marketing? What do you think when you hear the term social marketing?
A message that is delivered to help the community.
Mm-hmm. One of those, yeah?
Social media.
Mm-hmm. Networking. Okay, can you please?
Through the networking, you expand your business market.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Any other ideas?
Promoting, supporting the community for whatever it is that's either a social enterprise or a social ideal.
The colours. Okay. So this is, by the way, I'm not going to present to you all academic literature about social marketing or something. I'm trying to be as simple and I just want to really express what social marketing is to social entrepreneurs. So very, very simple. Social marketing is changing behaviors for public good. So Kotler is like the father of social marketing. So he's the guy. So changing behaviors for public good. That is what social marketing is. So I've been asked many times what social marketing is. And it is not social media marketing. It is not. You hear me, right? So no problem. Is it my accent or
No, it's actually the sound is not good.
okay. Like this?
Maybe I should it's okay.
Is it okay? Okay. So, with marketing, it's not, social marketing is not social media marketing. Because eventually social media is one of the channels that we use to promote a service, a product, or ourselves. So we can promote things via commercial marketing techniques like television, radio, newspapers, or signage, even it's a part of it, or we can promote via social media. So it's one of the channels. Social marketing is a bit more different. It is about changing behaviors. So what I say is, commercial marketers market products and services. It can be television, it can be a food business, it can be a chair, you know. But social marketing markets behaviors. Do not drink and drive. Do not smoke, it kills you. They are the basic ideas around social marketing. So, how do you change a behavior? So we have a behavior like smoking, a bad behavior. And how do you change this? Or you don't engage in public transport, although you are an environmental friendly person, right? How do we change behaviors? Or your customers are not lining up. How do you change this? Or how do you change unhealthy eating habits to healthy eating habits? Thinking. Okay. Education. Okay. You know what? I smoked for years. And I knew it was bad. Everybody knows smoking is bad, but they still smoke. Yes, please. Sorry?
Fear.
Fear, yeah. So it kills you. And I was still smoking, believe me.
Reward, the opposite to that.
Yeah. Yeah, it can be one of those. There are different strategies that can be done. So in the macro level though, yes, we can have laws or like we can scare people with different channels. Or from childhood maybe, you know, reward system, punishment, we can do that. This is another way. Usually governments use that one. This one. Do not park here. I'm going to find you. Can we please? And hang on, before this. So, one of the behavior change strategies, yes, education. You tell people like it's really bad. Let me tell you something, it's going to kill you. And you know what? You should know that's doing this to yourself. So we can educate people about things. And I have an example for you.
You can't see it, but your cigarette smoke lingers for hours and sticks to everything around it, leaving an invisible fog of poisonous gas. By the time a child is 5 years old, they can inhale the equivalent of 102 packets of cigarettes. They are forced to consume thousands of poisonous chemicals, including tar, hydrogen cyanide, and over 40 toxins known to cause cancer. Quit harming others.
It's very graphic, right?
That should be the job.
Yeah, exactly. So there is educational messages in it, right? So smoking does this to you. And also there's peer appeals as well. And you're a bad mother. You know what you're doing to your baby? That's what you're doing. Guilt. Okay? So this is one of the approaches. That's why we have interventions in the schools, for example. You go to high schools, educate students about possible effects of alcohol. Okay? That is one of the educational approaches. And we have law. We all know about it, right? So governments do that. But it's questionable whether they are working or not. And for drink driving as well. So law is another way of intervening to bad behavior. And also marketing, that is another approach. So why is social marketing? Because we have public health interventions as well, right? So but why social marketing is different? According to research, why social marketing is working better than other approaches in certain areas? First of all, I would say marketing, I wouldn't say manipulate, but marketing can market ideas well. So, because that's that kind of technique, right, overall. So first of all, in social marketing, we understand the audience first. When you say social marketing, it's all about research, evidence-based. So when we look at an intervention, it's all about understanding the audience first. Because it can be quite different than what you assume, their feelings, their understanding of the world, why they perform in a certain way. It can be quite different. Therefore, we understand that first. And then we do segmentation, so it can be different messages can be tailored for different segments, different audiences. And also, yes, research. So that is the main difference, but it's very academic, so I'll get there. I'll answer your questions. So this is one of the social marketing intervention. So it is with the Redland City Council. And can you please...
The Waste Not Want Not program, or our little campaign here,
Thank you very much. So, I don't know about the numbers on top of my head, but they will be on the screen. We waste lots of food. Okay? Lots of food are going to the bins. Okay? So, personally, you might be quite sensitive about it. My mother would be so crazy if I throw something. Therefore, I developed that habit from childhood. I don't throw food. But it's not safe for everybody. Okay? And many people do that. So with that intervention, what we did is, we wanted to understand why people were throwing food in the Redland area. So we got lots of photos we asked people to take the photos of their fridges. So they took their fridges, and we analyzed the data, and we established common patterns, common fruit and vegetables, and common items in the fridges. Okay? And then we ask questions to people. So what do you throw? Why do you throw? What is the reason? So we analyze this. And then we learn that people throw food not just because they're old, because they don't know what to do with them. They don't know. And what we did is, in the, I can't really recall its name, but in a shopping center, we had a week-long intervention. We offered recipes. And those recipes are made out of the items that were in their fridges. So we created new recipes with some celebrity chefs, and those chefs made cooking demonstrations. And at the end of the intervention, people developed cooking skills. They knew what to do with their leftover food in their fridges. And their awareness of the problem and the attitude towards food consumption and food wasting increased as well. So this is the video, please.
With Council's waste recycling and reduction strategy.
You know, for a person that advocates full cycle cooking, I think it's very important that we always use everything like, you know, like people say, nose to tail cooking. We always basically try to use a lot of things to reduce food waste as much as possible.
I approached Griffith University, marketing at Griffith, to see how we could partner and collaborate and work together to develop a program and a campaign for food waste reduction.
Trying to show everyday shoppers and everyday home cooks how to utilise produce they have in their fridge at home with less wastage. So recipes, examples and techniques which avoid things going to the bin or over producing things that are not necessarily eaten on a day-to-day basis. It's very important in today's age, sustainability, and sustainability goes from the bottom to the top, from producing the product to not wasting it.
Food waste is a resource that currently goes to landfill. About 23% of our community's curbside bins is food waste.
The cost of groceries will go down with the purpose of sustainability, and the weekly spend. The less that goes in the bin, the more they're utilising, the less wastage. Is not just food, it's money as well.
We'll give you about 5 minutes to make your decision.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you. And that was one of the interventions. And in the macro level, for example, in France, the macro level in France, for example, food. That's fine. Thank you. So in France, for example, in order to prevent food waste, the supermarkets have to donate their leftovers, right? Like that is in the macro level. So in order to change the behavior, there are multiple layers. So there are things that can be done in the macro level, such as laws or policy changes, or in the individual level. So it depends on the change and targeted behavior. So that is one of the projects, waste not, want not. So it was about food waste, and that is what we did. And the next slide, please. Okay, and this was another project. It was for Austrian Defense Force. So the military personnel have a very bad habit of eating unhealthy food. And it's very important for them as their job is heavily involved in physical engagement. So what we did is, we did lots of observations, lots of focus groups, so it's all about research. And after that, we introduced the intervention, go lean, go fresh, and they're all coming out of the research. And there were two phases. The communication campaign, that's where we introduced those posters in the military restaurants, where soldiers and military personnel dine. And also, we just changed the art layer of the restaurants. So healthy food became more available in the central locations, And instead of putting lots of effort and putting the healthy choices at the very end of the hot food area, you put them in like closer approximately. It's just convenient. People like them. It is like, if you don't want to, I eat lots of nuts. I love nuts, but they're too fatty, right? So if I put them next to my computer, I eat all of them. I kill all of them. But if I don't want to eat, just put them in the pantry. They may call your name. That's fine. Just don't listen. Don't listen. But you know, the approximity. So you can change behaviors by that kind of interventions as well. So it's not only one layer. That's what I'm trying to express. So, and that is my PhD. So it's not my PhD, but it's my postdoc. So I visited lots of bars and took the photos of beer taps. So it's all about work, again. So I took the photos and analyzed the content of beer taps. Okay? So just let me check. Okay, so the slide is wrong, but anyway, so it's my bad. But what happened is, when I went to beer taps, I analyzed 199 beer taps in 40 different bars. Okay? So, and there is cider in taps, light beer, mid-strength beer, and full-strength beer. Can you please guess how many light beers were there in the taps out of 199? 5? 5, 10? 40, which is like maybe like 25% of it, right? Okay, so now, there were, I'll come back to that, there were a news 2 days ago in Brisbane Times. It says, light beer consumption is the lowest in the last 20 years, light beer consumption. And middle strength beer and full strength beer is increased rapidly in last years. Because they didn't listen to me, right? Because I told them what was happening in the bars was wrong. Because 199 bar taps, only one light beer tap. Only one, Regatta, okay? It was in Regatta. So only one out of 40 pubs. So in order to change your behavior, it should be available as well, right? You should have opportunity. If you don't have the opportunity, you can't change your behavior. So if the government doesn't provide and oblige, because we also have to think about the business perspective as well, right? Because they want to make money. I totally understand that. But they can still make money by selling light alcohol. But because of the demand, they go with mid-strength and full strength. But if they're obliged by policy, they can change their beer taps. By doing that, they may impact individuals' behaviors because it will be available. Because when you go to pubs, you go to beer tap, what you have at one tap, right? Okay, do this. So, therefore, changing the environment, maybe with policy or availability, also impacts behavior as well, behavior change as well. So, now, when we say social marketing and social entrepreneurship, so it's about entrepreneurship tonight, right? So, what I believe is, the common ground between two things is the social change and public good. Because when we talk about behavior change in social marketing, it's about public good. It is not because I want to. So what is the ground? What is the moral ground? It has to be some public benefits. Okay? And I believe social entrepreneurship has that foot as well. And that is one of the best social entrepreneurship examples that I believe, because there's an effort towards social change and it's something for public good. And it is about food. Food, yes. Yes, please. Have you heard of this company? It's from the States.
Hey guys, I'm Carly Kloss, and I just created my own website with Wix.
Go to Wix.com to create your stunning website today. Choose from hundreds of templates.
Skip the ad. That's
Drag and drop ad.
Thank you. Yes.
Ugly fruits and vegetables are the 20% of fruits and vegetables that are grown on farms that don't make it to supermarkets each year. And that's usually for small cosmetic reasons like too big, too small, or it's the wrong shape, size, or color.
Perfect buys the produce from farmers for about 50% cheaper than the farmers would normally sell it to grocery stores for.
Food waste is a huge problem. It's one of the leading solids by weight in our nation's landfill system. And when it rots in those landfills, it releases methane, which is really bad for the environment.
Oh, this is perfectly nutritious, delicious produce. There is nothing wrong with them in terms of, you know, bruising or health issues or pest infestations or anything like that.
Yeah, the carrots are looking real cool this week.
So we're still really new. We just launched about 5 weeks ago. But I would say on a weekly basis, we go through about 5,000 to 6,000 pounds of produce right now. And hopefully by the end of the year, that number will be closer to 30,000 to 40,000 pounds of produce on a weekly basis.
Let's roll, baby.
We are currently serving about 500 customers in our first 5 weeks, so it's all skyrocketing.
Ugly fruit, nobody wants them in the supermarkets, but there's a market for that, right? There's a market, and this market is also fed by the developed environmental awareness as well. The motivation is not only money, also there's a big segment who is very sensitive about environmental issues, which also opens lots of business opportunities, and I believe the next presenter is also going into that space as well. So, and the last thing, 79% of people believe Australia has experienced climate change. So it's ABS statistics, Climate Institute, sorry. 79%, okay? So when we say climate change in the individual level, we have many things to do. Recycling is one of them, public transport is one of them, so don't use individual vehicles. So I'm in the public transport space at the moment, so I'm really interested in the area. And yes, 79% people also believe in that. But only 2% of adults cycle to work. They believe in climate change, you know. Very generally, people believe it, they're scared. But you don't use public transport. And also 7% of the household considers about buying an environmental friendly vehicle. So there might be many reasons for that. But what I'm saying is, believing in something or being aware of a problem is a different case. Doing something to change is a different case. And I'm very thankful to social entrepreneurs in that space because they give us the opportunity. So social marketing raises awareness, so that's what's happening, and do things to change behaviors. And social entrepreneurs provide opportunity. Do you remember that beer tap example? If there is no opportunity, you can't change your behavior. Okay? And social entrepreneurs also open channels. And I know also social entrepreneurs are very successful with communities as well. So that's all from me today. I hope you enjoyed my presentation. And I'm sure you have some questions, and you can keep those in. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Well, thanks for that.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So that is social marketing. It's actually doing, as Miro said, it's doing basically the world and the environment in which you live, making it a better place. So what we actually have now is we have Tony from Substation 33 who's going to come up and give a talk on actually that sort of social marketing in practice. So what we're doing.
I've lived alone for forever. In the last, for more than 30 years, I had small businesses in Logan. They were all small mainstream commercial businesses. About 9 years ago, I lost the passion to run those businesses. My wife and I decided to change a direction. I went back to school and trained as youth worker and got a job at Life Escom. Well, this is a large community organisation that's been in Logan for more than 30 years. I got a job as a youth worker there. One of my things was always about empowering young people to get work skills, to get into the food chain, to start paying taxes. It's all about me and my retirement management. And there you go. There's a parallel.
What's it doing?
Sorry about that.
I'll change this up. I'm hitching his lights with a manual from that and transport and walk down the park. I'm going to do some directions. I'm happy with the company.
So we'll go to slides. Did you want to try it? What's the next one? Did you want to try it? Yeah. Can you, just 2 seconds, otherwise I'm going to turn this into e-waste for sure. You'll have to go through this one.
Alright, so sorry. Back to the. So I had a job for YFS doing youth work. I wanted to employ young people, and today we'll just do some quick. I'll just do a quick thing about what we're going to do. Subsection 33. We'll talk about social enterprise and the definition, and we'll talk a little bit about the independent social enterprise network of Logan, and we'll talk about some upcoming events. So in August of 2012, I asked myself a simple question: what happens to all the electronic waste in Logan? And the answer appalled me, because it was ending up in landfill. And so that was a lot of electronic waste, and it was going to landfill, and I wasn't particularly environmentally conscious, but I didn't think that was a particularly good thing. And I thought that we might be able to do something with it. I also asked myself the question: how can we create more entry-level jobs in Logan? Because young people who come from each generation of unemployed families didn't have work skills, and they didn't know how to pick up work skills. There could be people who came from mainstream families as well, but they didn't have work skills, they didn't know how to work, they didn't understand about the tax system, they didn't understand about tax file numbers, they didn't understand about a whole lot of things, and we wanted to do something about that. So I put one on together, and Substation 33 was created. And Substation 33 is more than a recycling business, this is a skill development business, and a very small form factor innovation hub that we've got at 31 Mary Street. I took a proposal to the board of YFS, so you can understand that this board is a very old board. It's been around for 30 years, not particularly in that format, in other formats. I took proposals to the board. That night they ratified the agreement. The next morning, I had that. And that was a 400 square metre shed in the back blocks of Kingston that was like that. It was empty. It had nothing. It didn't have a signage on it, but it was empty. It just had an empty space. I knew absolutely nothing about electronic waste. But I really had a passion for driving skill development and getting young people skills. And I really wanted to get young people in the tax league so they paid for my retirement. So Substation 33 started with the government to look at it. We have a whole lot of electronic waste collection facilities and options that we have. And they can be in bags to we have 2 vehicles on the road. We process electronic waste. And in fact, since we started operation, we've processed more than 500,000 kilograms of electronic waste, with less than 5% of that going to landfill. And that's just since 2013. So we're nearly 5 years old now. For social enterprises, that's pretty good. Because normally social enterprises struggle after about 2 or 3 years. And management and community organisations are attached to them lose focus and fall for the pretty much. We're very proud that Substation 33 is coming into its 5th year. So in 2016-17 alone, we had 13 paid employees or 8 full-time equivalent positions created. We did 43,353 hours of volunteering approximately. And over 420 individuals came through Substation to experience work for maybe the first time. Some people stayed for 1 hour, some people stuck around for 4 or 5 years. So, there's a lot of talk about social return on investment, and I put this slide up here more than anything else to say that part of the thing that we do with Substation 33 is transitioning people away from us into mainstream employment. So in the last 12 months alone, we've got a transition to employment officer that works for us. She works part-time and I works with part-time. In the last 12 months alone, Emma's transitioned 40 people from Substation 33 into mainstream employment outside of Substation. And I talk lightly or in jest about people getting employment. But employment outcomes, as we all know, create all of those things. They can get computers, you can get cars, you can have money, you can get teeth fixed, you can do calculations, you can get a debit card. But most importantly for me, and for a lot of other people, you get enough money that you can buy your own house, or you can live in your own house. And housing is one of the key problems we have as a society. Independent housing is a problem. Once you get people into the cash flow, which we're all into the burn of cash, then they want to maintain their job, they want to maintain their housing, they want to maintain their houses, computers. So that's what we're focused on. Over the last 4 or 5 years, we have created a network of like-minded organisations, and we've got some new substations. So we have now about 8 social franchises or social mini substations at some of our special schools. And in those special schools, the kids learn for the first time how to do real work in a real workplace at school. So at school, they're pulling apart electronic waste at the tables. When they get to grades 11 and 12, they come to Substation 33 and they do real work experience in a real workplace. And it's a very unusual thing for young people, particularly young people with disability, because very, very few people take it on. We've experienced, when I was growing up in the 70s, was a thing you did every single week, and at school holidays when you were on work experience. There is no work experience left in Australia. It's very, very limited. Add to that the complications of having disability, and it's game over. We've got a couple of young people that have transitioned through this program with us. So they've been at some of the local special schools. They come and volunteer after they finish school. 2 of those young people have been with us for more than 10 years. We have some social franchises, and those social franchises we're in the loop with them, so that's offering more opportunities for more people. Endeavour Foundation, who is one of the large not-for-profits in Australia, we have 2 of our social franchises. CPL, Health Industries. And the bottom one is E-Waste Connection. E-Waste Connections quite far Substation of Pride and Joy. E-Waste Connections is just turned 1. E-Waste Connection has been developed by Monique and her family for her young son Josh, who has a severe disability through epileptic fits that have been he was over medicated when he was younger, and it gave him an acquired brain injury. Josh's only thing that floats his boat was electronic waste, and they live on the western suburbs of Brisbane. Coming to the substation was a trauma for the whole family. Josh said in after that period of time was not good for him. We had some conversations about some other community organisations, and in Kenmore there was a vacant block of land or vacant building that was owned by the Brisbane City Council. It was managed by Churches of Christ. Within 40 hours we had that building assigned to E-Waste Connection. That was 12 months ago. E-Waste Connection had about 2,000 kilograms of electronic waste alone in Kenmore. And we were in the food chain with them. We supplied them electronic waste, we supplied them the and going for their byproduct and their commodities, and we also offer training and support for their staff. In June 2015 at the Logan Income Action Festival that was held here on the Griffith campus, I met Simon. Simon's passion is about electronic waste or creating something from electronic waste. Simon had a whole lot of intelligence, no electronic waste. I had a whole lot of electronic waste, not much intelligence. So it's a bit of marriage for it. In that period of time, we've gone and morphed and changed. So we started with electronic, with converting bikes to electric bikes. We've done some 3D printers, a whole lot of bits and pieces that have come along as we've gone. We're just morphing and changing. We're growing and learning. Someone wants to develop and change and move, so that's what we do. We've started an innovation hub at substation, which is the photo in there now. And in that innovation hub, we just do some stuff. This is a 3D printer that we make, manufacture at the substation. The buy cost of that 3D printer for us is around $60 in parts. Everything else was electronic waste that we repurposed and remanufactured and turned into that 3D printer. The 3D printers that we've got about 40 units now in 5 of the local high schools. And in the high schools, the young people in grade 11 and 12 in the woodwork and metal workshops are building 3D printers on the back of our YouTube channel. And the coding kids are coding and building stuff. And the art kids are making stuff from their art from them. So we've had some innovation development partners, and I think the thing for substation is when we first started, you don't take this the wrong way, we're working with people that were marginalised from mainstream employment, so we're working with people that were in Struggle Street that had never had work experience. Because of our innovation hub and because of our partnerships with a group of like-minded individuals, some universities, we've been able to create a different process, and now we're working with what I like to call altruistic volunteers, people that have made their money and have moved on and want to do something that's a little bit more community oriented. Some true altruistic volunteering where they're giving back to the community. We also do a lot of work with university students where kids are coming out of university courses with very limited practical work experience, if any, or the work experience they've been getting in the fast food shop. But we do their practical work experience with our 3D printers and all the other stuff that we're doing as we go on. I'll show them more. I'll talk about a couple of these things. The speaker box on the right-hand side is Major Man Initiative. That's a social business that we've helped morph. Brad will tell you something about that. The social business for that is about creating waste from landfill. So that speaker box is obviously potentially into the landfill. All the speakers and the batteries are recycled parts from substation 33. They're manufactured at substation 33 in the kit form, and they're sold online. So interestingly, we're in about 8 months to sell them in 250 units. The product to the top left-hand side, Space Plants, is a local-based business. Space Plants build vertical gardens, and we've been doing some work with Space Plants to get those gardens to speak to us. So there's a live app, basically. I'm trying to do it, but there's a live app that Bluetooths between the plant and your phone, and we've been able to successfully get that into the internet, run on the cloud, so you can access the plants or look at your plants anywhere in the world. The bottom one here is the CMAP, Smart Environmental Monitoring and Assessment Technologies, apparently, is a co-partnership between Griffith University and Queensland University and now very proudly substation 33. And there is some of these CMAP buoys on the lake here, as you go in the lake. Those environmental monitoring systems are a buoy. It's sitting in the water. They take a few measurements, temperature, light, humidity, and they send that information up to our active web page. That web page can be accessed anywhere in the world. Why are we doing it? Well, I'm not too sure. Probably because we're involved. The reason we're doing it is we're trying to get altruistic volunteers to be able to give us as much, to give them as much as they're giving us, if that makes sense. So we want to give them challenges, and they want to impart their knowledge on what the young people. The CMAT project is quite impressive for us because it has a lot of potential. If you can imagine the cane farmers up and down the east coast of Australia, if we could drop one of these CMAT projects in, one of these CMAT balls in, and get that information out straight away, when that potential flooding or when they've got silt coming off their cane farms or off the mining into the Great Barrier Reef, we can pick it up straight away. It's very new technology, it's coming out of the world. The thing is that some of this stuff that's been done for CMAT, you can do this stuff at a cost of $150,000. We can do it for probably $100,000. November the 1st last year, I received a phone call from Logan City Council. Logan City Council had a problem with roads that flood. When roads flood, people drive into that road and they get washed off the road and potentially drowned. We had a conversation with council. I delusionally said that we could do this. Andrew, well, seems that there's more. There's thousands of things under mate. So what we can do this? We've got this. November the 1st last year. This week we've just delivered our 35th crossing, more than 70 signs scattered throughout Logan. We're now in negotiations with Sunshine Coast Regional Council, SES New South Wales, and Arcade Regional Council. This project activates when the creek comes up to the top of the road line. Radio signal is sent up to the sign and it flushes through this road from. It also activates a lot of Google mapping that tells us that that road is now flooded and we need to cross it. It also grabs data every 15 minutes from the sign, tells us the sign, battery voltage, temperature, humidity, whole lots of pieces. Very interesting that this product is designed and developed, run and managed out of Substation 33 in the backlocks of Kingston. None of us in the world can watch products. So we're very, very proud of that. This is quite a thing. So council will come to us and bought these products from us. It's the fee for service. We provide them a product, they give us a work order, we install them, we service them, manage them for 12 and give them 12 months already. It's a very clear business case. This is the development team from council, and all our guys from Substation. There's some senior employees of water, that's why I'm in your own way out. This is some of the data that comes off that's collected every 15 minutes from CMAT. So we hope to see them up and down the east coast of Australia in some ways. That was already out. This is what substation and social was. This is the substation. So primary purpose of people. And this is just a catchphrase that we've started to use, or I've started to use in the last couple of months, is the place where people being left behind have the opportunity to catch up. And that's what substation is all about. That's our social return, that's our social business. Very difficult to do that on a daily basis. So you can see that the substation is a very complicated business. It has a lot going on. 400 people in the building every year, a couple of commercial businesses, some electronic waste recycling, some collection bins, all that stuff going on. It's complicated. It is full on. This was something that was done when I was pitching to the Westpac Foundation more than 4 years ago. Even 4 years ago, look how complicated the substation was. This was a caricature was done live on the day in my 20-minute pitch. So even 4 years ago, it was complicated. It hasn't got any easier. Awards and stuff. There was some more back into that, but I'll just leave it alone. So the sign project, 4 months into the project, we won the National Awards for Local Government in Road Safety Initiative. On quite a few of these events that we've seen on campus, there's always a conversation about critical non-essentials. And critical non-essentials is something here in the business that probably most people would say. Certainly the accountants and review would say it's not essential. Our critical non-essential is quite hard. Since the day we started. We've also in the last year had a series of guest speakers. This is Marty Wallace, Senior Team Leader for Logan City Council, talking about his experience with the road, with some of the social roads in the private road situation. Everybody's eating hamburger at school. We've done this every Friday for 5 years. Some more about critical non-essentials is not this particular project. So I wanted to about a couple of weeks after my birthday, I originally thought I had Facebook and social media covered my family on my Thursday night. Little did I know that the girls had got the day before when we gave it to my birthday on Friday. When I turned up to the shed, for the first time in 5 years, the shed door was closed in the middle of the day. And I thought, something's going to fall here. And here are all our valuable team members mimicking Tony. So sometimes these things come that way. So I suppose the question is, what is a social enterprise? Before we talk about social enterprise, it's a complicated beast. We don't actually know what a social enterprise is. But here's some possible answers to that question. So social enterprise are purpose-driven organisations that try to deliver social or environmental impact. I think association does it on 2 fronts. We're very proud of that. So social and environmental impact is a tip, but there also has to be some commercial gain. If you're not making money, you can't keep the door open at the substation. If the doors are open, you cannot support the 4 or 500 people here to come through the door. You cannot divert the 150,000 kilograms of renovation landfill every year. You can't make really snazzy things. You can't have a team of coders in with the back box of loading and coding things. I can't do code reviews, imagine. So these are the different types of social enterprises. I suppose this is a timeline. There's a donation. So a large corporation can donate 2 or 3% from their funds to an overseas charity. That is some sort of social enterprise. This is side by side, which is independent social enterprise. We do a little bit of that at Substation 33, but we also do some direct, which is integrated, which we get people out of the street. I don't think one of the problems we have in this country is we don't have a definitive answer about social enterprise. So in Europe and in England, they have a social enterprise business model that's in part of the taxation department, so people know exactly what's going on inside the social enterprise is concerned. In Australia, we haven't reached that. Well, we're not that sure yet in the social enterprise space. Maybe we might get there eventually, hopefully, but at the moment, so. I'm also the chair and founder of the Independent Social Enterprise Network of Logan. So that's an organisation that was founded with a group of like-minded community-based organisations and social enterprises. We're just developing further on our database, but we believe there's more than 100 social enterprises active in Logan. We've had 2 expos. We've had 10 workshops, a series of 10 workshops around social businesses and about developing businesses and starting businesses. We're about to launch. This is our key message, I suppose, about what we do. So, Independent Social Enterprise Network of London is a group intentionally formed to support organisations in the social enterprise and not-for-profit sectors. This has been pretty successful. We've now duplicated the business model in Sunshine Coast and Fraser Coast, and they've taken on our branding, if you want, and some of the stuff that we've been doing. Upcoming events. This is where it gets tough. What is going to these? the 2017 Social Enterprise Expo, 10th of November, 8 to 1 at the Bone Factory, free entry. There's approaches, meet some awesome social enterprise people, maybe trade and buy from some social enterprises, or maybe just hang out with us for a while. The following weekend from that will be the very first startup weekend in Logan, and that's going to be held at Substation 33. So normally startup weekends are in some swanky building in the middle of the city, with a nice polished concrete floor and awesome ceiling, but we're going to just keep it real, get it into Substation 33. And for those of you who've experienced Substation 33, you know it's grungy, it's dirty, it's got a horrible wall, but we've got awesome 3D printers. We're not going to do all that like this before. So I expect to see you all there. That's it. I'm done.
Well, thanks for that, Tony. It's good to see that social entrepreneurship, social innovation can actually help two facets of society. Well, not so much society, it also helps society and the environment within which we live. What I'd like to do now is invite Tony and you, Ray, back up to the stage, and then we can ask questions. So we've got about 10 minutes of questions, Q&A. So anybody have a question? And then we'll go to the microphone. Question for you, Tony. How do you get your waste? Where does it come from? How do you,
So we have 200 bins scattered around Brisbane in commercial buildings. We also have 2 vehicles on the road. We also have about between 10 and 15 drop-offs from mums and dads at the substation every day. We don't actually divert anything from landfill, that goes to another company. We live from social areas.
Okay, thank you.
Tony, can you explain a bit more about the startup weekend? What it involves?
Yep. So we've connected with the Startup Weekend, which is a not-for-profit organisation based out of the States. It is exactly that, Startup Weekend. It will run from Friday afternoon from 5 till 10, Saturday from 8 till 10, and then Sunday from 8 till 5. On the Friday night, they'll do some bonding and some team building stuff, and they'll do an initial pitch. They'll then get some teams together. They'll develop teams. Hopefully we'll have a group of mentors. We will have a group of mentors on site. And those mentors will team up with a business that they're interested in helping to develop and refine. On Sunday afternoon we'll do a final pitch on those businesses. Does that answer your question? We have a slant on it for social enterprise, but it's not targeted at that. So any startup can come, basically, is what we're saying. We'd set like a tilt on social enterprise if we can get it, but it's not mandatory.
No, question for you. With regards to your PhD and stuff that you've done there, what's your definition of public good?
Okay, that is a very academic and very philosophical discussion as well, because when we say public good, there are different school of thoughts about public good. Okay, so personally, I was going with because there are different outcome measures for what can be good. For example, how much that problem costs to the community and to the country. Because, for example, with the alcohol problem, there are economical costs as well, because alcohol-related problems are impacting our public health system, our roads, our workforce as well, because of hangovers, many people don't go to work the other day. So therefore, when we say public good, there should be some benefit, something good, and it should be measurable. We should have some measures. about it. So that is the starting point, but that's a philosophical discussion, I think, a bit more about.
Hi, it's a question for both of you, more or less. I plead ignorance in this matter, in the sense of what differentiates between social enterprise and not-for-profit.
Typically, a not-for-profit would work on a government grant system. So the government, basically the work the government doesn't want to do. So it could be youth services or domestic violence or whatever is going on. It's identified. So it's a pond of money that is then spent on wages or admin or whatever it's spent on. A social enterprise is the enterprise. I suppose maybe we should rephrase it and call it enterprise within brackets social.
So one is government and one is government.
Correct.
And also, I think there is financial motivation as well with social enterprises as well.
Yes,
right?
so I can talk at length about substation, obviously. Substation is a very lean machine. It's very sometimes too lean.
Probably a question for both of you again. Sort of, Tony, when you decided to start Substation, was your idea that it was going to be an enterprise for you, or was it more that you were more looking at the social aspect of it, or was it a bit of a 50-50? And obviously, for anyone else, I saw a lot of examples of, say, government trying to change behaviours, and obviously is impacting the health system and health and safety of the public. What other reasons would people have to start a social enterprise if not sort of for their own enterprises in a normal sense?
Well, we started Substation 33 to create employment and to do the crap from there. I think our social we've demonstrated social return. We've now got a business that's at break-even point, so it's self-sustaining. We have a place that's a workplace. Substation has become a community centre more than just an electronic waste business. I go to work at 7 o'clock in the morning to have an hour before everybody turns up there, and there's people at the door saying, "You're late." Oh no, I'm not. You're actually 1.25 hours early. Go away. But we can't say that. But that's what it's about. It's about creating something it's just something different. It's a place where people can experience work, and they can't do it they can't do it at all. I didn't know what Substation was going to look like. I still don't know what it's going to look like. Ask me what Substation looks like in 5 years' time. I have no idea, and I don't intend to try to go there. I thought Substation was going to be a table of 4 people pulling apart some electronic waste. I didn't expect 450 people to turn up and pull apart 150,000 kilos of electronic waste per year. Didn't answer your question.
Question for Tony. When are you going to start the chain of Substation 33? Because fantastic if you started a substation out of Ifrit, for instance.
Substation. It's either 66 or 99 is going to Bremer Tafe. So that's a social franchise that started on. This is not the McDonald's / Subway social franchise. We like to embed a person from Substation 99 into our substation for 3 or 4 weeks, get the DNA of the building and transpose that out to somewhere else. That's our social franchise model. It's not paper-based. It's about the only way you can run a successful social franchise, in my opinion, is to have a human that's 100% dedicated to making it work. Because without that human, it's going to fall over. It's going to be incredible.
You train somebody for 3 weeks?
Yep. It's probably more like forever, because e-waste, like every business, changes on a daily basis.
Any other questions?
I guess I could ask, are you enjoying your retirement? You sound like you are.
I'm supposed to be in the Bahamas right now. It doesn't look like it, but anyway, it's not a problem. I think to answer that question, but I think the thing about a social enterprise is that it's always run by a human to start with. A really successful social enterprise, in my opinion, grows to such a point that it has a team, and then that team can run with it and go with it. We've now got 13 units at Substation 33, and we've now got a team that's just about ready. The Bahamas are cool. I can't have substations.
So on that note, let's just thank them again for their
Thank you very much. Thank you. I really enjoyed.
Thanks, mate.
Now, before you go, we've got one presentation about something that is coming up later on in the year. So I'd like to introduce Trevor to you. You can have a chat about this little venture. Thanks, Robin. Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Trevor Russell, and wow, what a great presentation to follow. I am the sales manager for the Logan Business Expo. I'm also a sales and marketing consultant, so it's been great being back in the uni chair after so long. Before I just go into what I want to share with you, would it be okay if I ask you guys a couple of quick questions? Is that okay? Who here, just so I can gauge, is in business at some level? Okay, so quite a few of you. Okay. Could I ask, for those of you who are in business, what would be, say, the top 2 or 3 things that are most important to you? And if you could share, that would help me. What are you in business to do?
Make money.
Make money. That's a good answer. Deliver value. Lifestyle. So probably from delivering value and making money, you get lifestyle. And would it also be important to have a good consistent flow of clients and sales that will make the business work? Yes or yes? Okay. So then what comes with that is a thing in business called the problem or the challenge. And the challenge is really how we do it on a day-to-day basis. Would that be fair to say, business owners? How we market our business, how we generate ongoing inquiries, how we generate ongoing clients and customers to buy our products and services. Fair call? Okay, so then what is the solution? Well, the solution is probably too big a conversation for tonight's presentation. However, I do have one solution for you, and I think it ties in very well with tonight's topic, especially from a networking perspective, because as I'm sure you would be all very aware in business, there are a lot of things that we can do from a sales and marketing perspective to attract clients and to generate sales and revenue for our business. But what I would like to introduce and present to all of you that are in business that would like some more clients and some more sales is the Logan Business Expo. And tying very much with our approach to wanting to now support the Logan business region, because the word on the street is that there's a few businesses in Logan. Would that be right, ladies? Like many hundreds of small and medium businesses. So alongside with Paula and thanks to Griffith University, who are one of our sponsors, along with Logan City Council, we are launching the Logan Business Expo, which will be running on Friday, the 3rd of November. And this is going to be an outstanding opportunity for any of you that are interested in networking, building a whole lot of quality leads and prospects and clients in one day, and really generate a whole lot of activity that you can then go away and convert into happy paying customers and clients. How does that sound? Okay, so how much does all of this cost? Well, it's only $35,000. No, just kidding. To be an exhibitor at the exhibition on the day, it is all $350 to be a trade exhibitor. So if you do want to exhibit your business, and we do have limitations on categories, some of those categories may already be gone. We only take 130 exhibitors, and we're at about 70 now. So We're very proactive in our marketing, and we have had a great response, obviously, because it's very affordable, and it's a great day to do some great business. And for all of us who are in business, and I suppose coming back to what probably some of the challenges in business are, is limited time and limited marketing budget, right? So we've worked really hard to make it affordable for small and medium enterprise businesses who want to showcase their business, who want to have an opportunity to network, generate a lot of leads and inquiries in one action-packed day. So to add to that, and as Tony mentioned, we are in the business of making money unless we are government funded, which the Expo is not. We do need to obviously pay for the day, and it's slim and tight. We want to make it affordable for business owners. But what I would ask for you to consider is, what is the return on investment that you would want if you were going to exhibit? Invest a day, invest $350 for the day, and to help you make it a good return on investment, in addition to your exhibition fee of $350, we will also be running a number of how to make your trade table work from a sales marketing perspective workshops that we will be running, we'll be running in October on Wednesday the 5th of October and Wednesday the 12th, and in that workshop we're going to share with whoever is attending and who's really serious about making this day a highly valuable day of good sales and marketing for your business. We'll go through and we'll show you how to make a trade table work. The things that you say to open a conversation, the way that you structure a conversation that leads to qualifying if the people you're speaking to are your type of client or customer, how to collect their details and then do this magical thing called follow up, you know, that thing that we all do in business, right? You know, fortunately the follow up. So we'll show you how to do that, but overall it's going to be an outstanding day. We're really pleased to have Griffith Uni as one of our sponsors. We have local radio stations, we have a lot of guest speakers, and it really is an exciting event, isn't it guys, for the local region, because I don't really think there has been anything of this nature in the area. We've been running these for the last 3 years in Coomera and in the Gold Coast region. Very, very successful days, 600 to 800 people through the doors on the day, a lot of great business, and if you work the day, it will pay you a dividend. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Trevor Russell. I do have some information forms and registration forms with me, so if you are serious and you'd like to take one of those away with you, come and see me at the end and I'll give you those forms, and be a pleasure to have a chat to you and see if we can make this a high-value day for you. Thank you very much. Oh yes, good question.
What times of the day does that run from until?
So we load in at about 8. We kick off at about 9:30 for the launch, and we've got the mayor with us launching, and we will finish 4 o'clock sharp.
So most people will be at work on
Well, this is a day for small and medium businesses.
to market amongst ourselves.
So you've got business owners coming through the door, you also have businesses exhibit. It's not a day for employees, it's for business owners. So we have a lot of business people coming through that are small to medium businesses. We have a whole series of databases that we market to, and today we've had an outstanding shop rate. So yeah, and yes, it is a work day, but we seem to be doing really well so far. I hope that helps answer the question. Any other good questions? No, I am going to be here if you want to have a chat at the end. I can talk about the expo, but thank you very much. It's been a pleasure speaking to you.
Thanks very much. And what we're going to do now is we're going to have a couple of draws. But first of all, with that little those handouts that you have, there's a questionnaire at the back. If you don't mind just filling in that questionnaire, what that does is it helps us sort of evaluate the series over the whole year, so we can try and develop it even more for next year. So there's a tray coming around, or a bowl coming around. Put your business cards in there, and then we're going to do a couple of draws out of that business card. So who here thinks that having expos at Logan is a good thing? It can only help. That's the way. The best way to look at it. If we don't learn to help each other, we're not going to get any further. So that's the idea of the seminar series and these expos. So do be prepared to have that little bit of time and tag along to these, especially with regard to startups as well. You don't become an SME until you start up. So that's the first step to becoming one. So be prepared to go on to that startup as well. How are we going there? Any questions from the floor? I'll stand up and look silly. No? That's good. It's just a little bit silly. We're just waiting for the cards to arrive. More cards to come, and then we just go. One to come. Okay, who am I going to get to draw that? Oh, let's have one left. And the winner of the prize is Rod Hyatt. Yay! Right, right in the back. So you've won yourself a lovely umbrella. Well, it might not keep the rain out, but it's going to keep the heat out, that's for sure. There we are. Do you play golf? You're a good golfer. Okay, one more draw. And seeing as how I've given it to one presenter, let's do the draw from the other presenter. And the winner is Modesto Investments. Woo. Okay, what you win here is you win access to one of our entrepreneurial courses held at this campus. So you get free access to it. And we'll be in contact with you about how to go and access to it. You don't have to sit in the exams, okay? We're not that bad. But you do get access to all the information. And there's about 7 or 8 courses that you can choose from. The one coming up next trimester is business plans, developing a business plan. So what we'd like to do is I'd like to call it quits for the night. But once again, thank you for coming along, and do remember we have another one next month on IT. Now, who does not know anything about IT? Well, unfortunately we have to these days. By the time we all get to robotics, can you just imagine doing this instead? So, we'll have another seminar coming up next month. Do keep in contact. We'll also send you out some information about the upcoming seminars. And on that note, I'd like to say once again, thank you for coming and look forward to seeing you.